Hey everybody, Tony D and little Joan here, and we're just going to wrap up with the final hot take, the final video of the evening, because we're still doing stuff in the house, right, Joan? You're no help. You're no help. You pooped everywhere. That's what Joan did today. She pooped and peed all over the house, as if I don't have enough to deal with. So thanks a lot for that, dog. I don't even know why. We went walkies, had a great walkies, I thought, but Joan decided to leave presents everywhere. I think it's because it got cold today, and she decided, I'm not going to poop out here. Anyhow, let's get into the rest of the headlines. eBay bans people from reselling 6 offensive Dr. Seuss books. This is just so stupid. So stupid, eBay. You knew people would go through your material and see that you're selling all kinds of offensive stuff. Not the least of which are offensive books that are way more offensive than Dr. Seuss. So please, spare us from doing that. Do you really need the attention that much? Today's top story on Gab. MSNBC host Joy Reid says Republicans would trade tax cuts for the ability to say the N-word. That's about the level of discourse you get on MSNBC. I don't think she believes that. I think she just says stuff to get ratings. That's pretty wild. So I can imagine that. Yeah, she got a few hits on that little YouTube clip. Biden border blowout. February record. Nearly 100,000 illegals detained crossing from Mexico. CDC waives beer virus rules, allowing filling child migrant shelters to capacity. So you see, you have the virus and it's very dangerous unless you're at a BLM rally or you cross into the country illegally. See how that works? The AP put out a poll that says Biden's job approval is at 60%. Oh yeah, I'm sure we all believe that, right? I mean, come on. The guy's just doing so amazingly. Oh my God, AP, why do you bother? Oh, that reminds me. I do have a Bitchute Rumble exclusive. You only see 3 videos from today, right? Go to Bitchute Rumble. I had to do it. Because of the topics. But McKinney, Trump's old press secretary. Staff doesn't want Biden to have press conferences. Yeah, he's losing it. He's unraveling. Of course he doesn't. We did that one. Oh, this is a weird story. Australian reporters angered after advice to stop using the term, let's call them child diddlers, to refer to accused serial child molester. It's like, why would you get into that semantic argument? Are they trying to set something up? I think they are. The left has gotten really weird about child diddlers. They're not against them. I'll never forget that sign that Antifa marched with, which was like pro-child diddler in some respects. So there's some weird stuff going on the left. Again, they have no limits, and that becomes a problem when you take that to its logical extreme. If everybody's a blank slate, if children can decide what sex they are, and they're children, well, why can't they have sex? Why can't they decide who to have sex with? Why can't they drink and drive and vote and fly airplanes? And, that's the problem. There has to be limits. And that's why the left is so childlike in its arguments and in its way it does things. And that's why there's so many of them, because there's so many immature people in this country, sadly. Sadly, that's America. It's filled with children, grown adult children who haven't been disciplined because their parents just didn't bother. There's just too much effort. California is bone dry. Will March bring more misery or miracle? I always said to my friends who live out there, this place is a desert, man. Get out. Get out while you can. Here's a funny one. Psaki, Biden's press secretary, says that Joe Biden is just too busy handling the beer virus crisis right now, so he'll hold a full press conference by the end of the month. That'll take them that long to build the animatronic Biden that will actually address the reporters. I mean, they're in trouble when he gets in front of a crowd because he won't be able to do it by himself. He's going to have to lean on. He's probably leaning on the podium, you know, and probably got notes in front of him, and he's probably forgetting things. He's made so many mistakes. He's not going to be able to do it by himself. They're just going to have her stand up there with him. That's the only way. It's the only way they can make it work, and it's going to be a disaster if they do. Either way, it's going to be a disaster. If he has Jill Biden or somebody stand next to him, he's going to look weak, and if he doesn't, he's going to flub the thing unbelievably. He's not going to remember things. It's going to be a disaster. But that's okay. You know, the media will just say, "Oh no, he's a genius." Cleveland Democrat indicted after allegedly stealing $127,000 from city. Nice. Disgusted parents say schools are bombarding their kids with anti-racist agendas from the Daily Mail online. Yeah, the UK is just cuckoo bananas over critical race theory and all this leftist nonsense. They're in some ways, they're ahead of the curve trying to fight it, but it's still very bad over there. Very, very woke. You know, they have a similar problem with their conservatives. That really, their conservatives, you know, capitulate to the left so much that they're essentially, you know, they're like our rhinos. They buckle. You know, they say, well, I guess you could have abortion on demand, but never on Sunday. You know, stupid concessions that they don't really need to make. They don't stand on real principle. And they should, because the left, not too long ago, decided that they wouldn't. That they would go to the mat on every issue, and, you know, they'll basically, you know, they have no scruples. So if you compromise with them, they'll say, "Oh, that's not good enough. Give us more." Or they'll pretend to be okay with that for a while and then ask you for another 5 or whatever. Iranian terrorists claim to have active cells in Washington, D.C. Yeah, so what? So what? What are you guys going to do? You'll be lucky if you're not killed by Antifa. NFL names first black female game official. Oh, well, hey, stop the presses. Who cares? Who cares? No one cares anymore. That was news 40 years ago. That was news. Now it's not. No one cares. We stopped doing this. It's like when Psaki comes out and says, well, we have a female secretary of, you know, to the Treasury. No one cares. That was news in the 70s. No one cares. Stop saying it like it's a big deal. No one cares. And speaking of women, Italian dictionary, what does that say? Treccani? Treccani? Is that what it's called? Italian dictionary Treccani urged to change sexist definition of woman from the BBC News. You know, we Italians we're pretty spicy sometimes when it comes to the ladies. But that doesn't surprise me, you know, because the left just goes after everything. They just go after everything. And no one cares. Again, no one cares. No one cares. LeBron James, NBA to fight voter suppression during All-Star Weekend. Oh, wow, that's so great. Are you going to fight that voter suppression in China? Oh, right. You're okay with that. You're okay with a communist dictatorship. So it makes sense that the NBA would fight voter suppression. That makes total sense. That the people getting money from communist China fight voter suppression. Mm-hmm. Can't read that. That's about the election. Did I mention my Bitchute Rumble exclusive? That talks about the election and a few other things I can't talk about here. Ted Cruz spotlights Biden administration ties to Chinese communist. Yeah. I mean, how many times you got to say it? I mean, the guy took bribes from China. I mean, that's it. Another article about the HR1 for the People Act. Please email and call your senators. I know I keep saying it, but if you don't call and email, they're going to just pass this thing. At least you can say you tried. Jill Biden visits mass children at schools separated by plexiglass. Okay. Mammograms pick up harmless breast lumps from beer virus vaccine. That doesn't sound good. Lumps don't sound harmless in the breast, but I'm sure they exist. Men are turning to makeup during beer virus after one too many Zoom calls. Yeah, I don't think that's true at all. What is that from? WND? Reprinting the New York Post? I guess a couple, but I guess that's more attempts for the media to try to feminize men. I don't understand what the end game there is. to make every man in America beta male, so no woman wants to have sex with him. Okay, I mean, I just, why don't you just surrender to China now? Here we go. Andrew Cuomo, AIDS, rewrote the report to hide 2,800 plus deaths. I believe that. Sure. Cuomo probably asked them to do it or implied that they should do it. These people are pretty ruthless, and they knew they had problems. Philly union leader arrested by federal agents accused of extortion. Wow, there's a shocker. A guy in a union did something illegal. Here we go. Baltimore high school student fails all but 3 classes over 4 years. Ranks near top half of his class. And that's Baltimore in a nutshell. I've been to Baltimore. I usually stay within the Inner Harbor because you don't want to go anywhere else. I've done a few comic book conventions down that way. It's, the people are nice or whatever, but it is not a nice city. It's fallen to pieces in my view. So that does not surprise me. It's a shame. It's a shame. I think that's about it. I think that was the only one. Yeah, that's about it. So, it's a slow news day, but it's not a happy news day. I don't know when we're going to get a happy news day. Oh, and I know what the other thing was. They kicked Trump's CPAC speech off of YouTube and a bunch of places. So, if you're looking for his CPAC speech, you can check it out at Rumble. I believe there's probably a copy of it on Bitchute and some of these other platforms, but you see what they're trying to do. I mean, it was a good speech. It wasn't anything radical or crazy. But this idea that, you see, we don't want to do this, but we have to because there's an insurrection or something. It's just ridiculous. It's the same thing with doctors. They're just going to keep canceling things until people stand up. You have to stand up to this. You just got to say no more. No more. I'm not going to give you my money. Cancel people. I'm not going to go on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. And eventually people will just stop. It's like what's happening with the mask mandates. Now, the red states are stopping them. They're done. Some of the blue states are starting to crack. Connecticut's starting to crack. So, unfortunately, New Jersey is going to hold out to the end. I know. It's going to be New Jersey and New York to the bitter end until Cuomo and Murphy finally get kicked out of office. And then maybe we'll get our freedom back. Told you not to give it away.